Yo, what's up YouTube? This is Jammerit coming to you today with a brand new video, boys, and today we're going through and completing some of the weekly SBCs, so let's get right into the video. So guys, welcome to another video on the channel, and today guys, what we're going to be doing is going through and just building out these squads for these SBCs. We are going to be working towards that Memphis Depay. So this is the first challenge, weekly challenge number 1. We've got De Jong, we've got Linson, Hendricks, Ramsala, Donk, Promise, Blint, as well as Veltman. So the trouble with this one, guys, is that they are required in their exact positions, as well as only 4 leagues exactly. Now, right mid was a very difficult decision. I wasn't going to use Promise, but then I realized that, you know, they're all pretty much extinct, guys. Like, most of these cards are extinct. Luckily for me, I did have Blint and Ramsala, who I was using from the Hullets campaign. So I went through and used these cards. But yeah, also the Hendricks and the Donk, guys. The CDMs are very difficult to snipe. But these are the cards that we did go through and pick up. Obviously, a bit of training was required as well. So this is the first challenge, guys. Let's go through and submit that and claim up the rewards for this. Did you guys manage to go through and complete this SBC? I know a lot of people have been having trouble with sniping the cards, and I'm one as well, guys. Trust me, I am one as well. So we get 50k, and we get a whole bunch of XP. Moving on to challenge number 2. And here we are, guys, at the second weekly challenge. So this one is for 500 skill boosts, 500 midfielder skill boosts to be precise. I have been looking at it, guys, and I have sort of been struggling with what options I should take. But I have gone through and decided to do this. Like, I wasn't considering doing these SBCs. I sort of was waiting on whether or not the prices would drop or if the cards would become more freely available. But it doesn't look as though they are going to be. So this is the team that we've got, guys. So we've got Lozano, the campaign master, Gerson, who's extremely cheap, Salke, who's extremely cheap, Bernardo Silva, who's pretty cheap. I did accidentally level up Ziyech 1 level instead of Ayub, but they're both dirt cheap, you know. Bernat, Rugani, Zapata, all under 50k, guys. So this is not a very expensive SPC in terms of what you get in return. You know, 500 skill boosts is very good, and especially because they are specific skill boosts. You know, if you're looking at a, you know, midfield upgrade, or, you know, you've got a very heavy, intensive midfield, this is a very good SPC, and obviously it does unlock the Memphis Depay as well, who we'll be going through and doing. But in my opinion, I think that this SPC is 100% worth it, just because of the fact that it is specific SPCs. I'm just going to go through and check. So as you guys can see as well, the rating is exactly at 81, so that's absolutely fantastic. But yeah, guys, I would probably recommend you guys doing this one if you do have sort of a similar team. Just go through and check on the market for these positions and the cheapest players, you know, 78, 77, 79s, and use Luna or Easter players, and you'll be okay for this one precisely. But let's go through and claim up these skill boosts. So let's just go through and see the distribution of them. As you guys can see, they're relatively decent, with the lowest one being at 29 and the highest being ball control with 50. So holding is going to be good. Actually, holding at 52, which is actually even better because that is for Petit, as you guys can see there. But let's jump into the hard one for today, guys, and that is Memphis Depay. And guys, here we are at the most difficult challenge of the week. So we're just going to be going through and talking about the 11 cards that I chose and why. So first and foremost, we've got Salke, 88 overall. Obviously, you guys know that he is a very cheap card, and whenever you need to do a high-rated SPC, he is definitely one to consider, just because of the fact that he is so cheap. We've got the Luna goalkeeper there, so we did train him up 1 level. The thing is that there's also an Easter goalkeeper, 83 overall, Olsen. But I think that the Luna goalkeeper is actually a little bit cheaper still. But yeah, definitely you can start to consider Easter players, guys. Definitely consider them, because they are extremely cheap as well. We've got Fabio Martins here. So here's 83 overall. We picked him up for around 155k. You can get them very cheap. It's absolutely crazy. So he was 83, and we did trade him to 84. We've got, at central mid, we've got Ferry and Seri there, guys. Ferry and Seri. I'm not sure if I'm saying their names correctly. However, we did need to train these cards up quite significantly. Ferry was quite expensive to go, first and foremost, go through and snipe, and then go and train up. But we did manage to get him up to 84 overall. And Seri, obviously the campaign card. The reason why I'm using Seri is because he is from the Ivory Coast, and because the fact that I've got Ferry, Tolisso, Morale, Sansone, and let me see. So Ferry, Sansone, Tolisso, Morale, and yeah, so those are the four French players. So obviously, you know, with Sansone and Tolisso, because they're French, they are very, very good options. And I didn't really want to use any other French players because they help save A, coins, and B, XP, which is very, very important. So Seri, I did decide to use him as my central mid. Also, guys, we've obviously got Lindelof as well. You know, like Tolisso, Lindelof, Sansone, also very, very cheap if you look on the market. And obviously, you know, if you invested in them, you can use them in this SBC. Morale was quite expensive. I think it was like 40 to 55k. I can't remember exactly. And obviously, Motto, guys, another Lunar New Year player who is dirt cheap. Now, the difficulty that I had with this one is because, as I just mentioned, you know, I had a few French players, you know, already filled out by Ferry, Morale, Tolisso, and Sansone. So those are the four French players. I did need to go and pick up this left back, and he was pretty much my only option. I could have done some moving around, but I wanted to pick him up because he's from Brazil. So that took a little bit of time to go through and snipe him, but we did eventually get him, guys. Now, this is by no means a cheap SBC, but for a 90 overall card that I am probably going to be putting into my lineup in the future, it's definitely worth it. Going through and talking about why I didn't pick Marquinhos. So I'm just keeping Marquinhos in case I need him for icons or icon campaigns. So I'm not going to be going through and using him in this instance, even though it's probably smarter if you guys want to, but I'm just holding on to him in case we do need him. You know, and because I still haven't done Ronaldinho's campaign, and he does help me with that. So that's why I'm using Motto, but you can obviously save a few coins if you do decide to go through and use him. And also the Trophy Master cards, so you guys can consider that as well. And just double checking there, that is the exact rating needed. So let's go through and submit this, guys, and pick up that Memphis Depay. This is crazy, man. This is pretty crazy. Also, another card that you could consider using is the Rabiot Trophy Master, if you do have him, because the Seri is worth a little bit more XP. But that's the route that I chose, and I already had used Rabiot in a previous SBC. So here it is, guys. Picking up that Memphis Depay. There's 4 SBC points. There's 1 million coins, which is good to get back. And 90 overall Memphis Depay, guys. He does join the team. Obviously, we've got preseason Hazard, but with me using the 352, I am definitely considering using him and melting Hazard into him because he has got such great stats. But let's move on to the Musa SBCs, guys, and then end off the video. And here we are, guys, at the Musa SBC. So this one gives 50k XP, 50k coins. We are going to be using Moses and Shishkin. We are using Shishkin. We had him for the Yashin campaign, but we've changed formations for the Yashin campaign. The thing is that I'm just using him as well because I don't want to train any more players. I did train up a few of these players, but obviously, you know, with the Memphis Depay SBC, guys, it cost me so much XP, so I am trying to save a little bit on XP going forward. And there's that SBC completed, relatively easy. Let's move into the Musa one now, guys, and we are at 34 SBC points. And here we are, guys, moving on to the Musa SBC. So 86 overall striker is really going to help with the Okocha campaign, which is absolutely fantastic, and it does look like a beast. So this is the team. We've got Nabakin, Ignacevic, and Vashin. We packed Ignacevic from the tournament when you pay 50k for entry, as well as the 2 other Moscow players that we were using for the Yashin campaign. We also got Rudy, Drinkwater, Zappacosta, and Abubakar, as well as Vorm. Very cheap cards, guys. Like, Vorm was like 30k, Abubakar's under 40k, Rudy's like, you know, I picked him up during Team Heroes. Drinkwater and Zappacosta are dirt cheap as well. The most expensive card in this instance was, for me, the Slimani, who's pretty much at cap, but I didn't want to go through and pick up Jamie Vardy. So I did go through and use him, and that is exactly what we did go through and do. So here are just some of the skill boosts that we do obtain, 150 of them to be precise. And here is Musa, guys, 86 overall card. Will I use him? I'm not sure. I'll use him in the Okocha, and then I'll probably just use him in an SBC going forward, because obviously I've got Ronaldo and Messi up front, but he does look extremely, extremely good, and these are unauctionable. But other than that, guys, this is pretty much just going to be the end of the video for today. I'm not going to do the Pizarro at the moment, just because the Guadalajara players are actually still extinct, so I don't have time to go through and snipe them at this moment in time. You know, and I did spend quite a bit of time trying to snipe the Dutch central defensive midfielders, the Leicester players. So yeah, thank you all for everything, guys, and this is Jammerit signing out for the day, and peace.